Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Small Business Town Hall virtual meeting we have every Tuesday at noontime, talking about small business issues. And we're so privileged, quite frankly, to have consistent attendance here by the SBA with Mark Haywood and Commerce with Secretary Pryor, of course, with Matt Weldon with DLT and Liz Tanner. All coming in and sharing their information from Liz is from Director of the Department of Business Regulation. And then, of course, we'll have our Small Business Coalition members. And then we're gonna meet with a few businesses. I'm in the middle of now, I think I'm about the 23rd community, was in Situate and Forster yesterday, and 5 communities last week. I'll be in North Providence with Mayor Lombardi today, visiting small businesses on this 39 small business grant tour, because we have these grants that are available, the Restore Rhode Island grants, and Secretary Pryor should be on to kind of give us an update on that. But we're encouraging all our small businesses and all our communities to really apply for these grants. They're available. We're in a third phase of a strategy that is very much simplified, and we've got to make sure that we work with everybody to get those monies out. I was on a call today with Town Council President Miriam Rivera from Central Falls, and most likely will be our next mayor in Central Falls. And we're going to do a cooperative effort with our office, with the Hispanic Chamber, with Oscar Mejias, and really try to penetrate 350 businesses in Central Falls. And just met with Mayor Grebian and his staff and his planning department. We're going to try to penetrate into city of Pawtucket with contacting close to 500 small businesses. So if you're out there, you're a municipal leader, or you're a chamber or a business association, we want to speak to you. Our office is available to partner with you to help get these grants out. There's still close to $38 million of grants available, and we still want to go back for another round, asking for another $75 million. So anyways, 3 things that I wanted to go over today before we start the program. One is, we launched the Rhode Island Military Relief Fund. We're coming up on Veterans Day. The Rhode Island Military Relief Fund provides funding to families that are, in Rhode Island as their husband and wives are serving as in deployment outside the state or even inside the state right now. National Guard, 500 active National Guard over the last several months. In helping us with the COVID right here in Rhode Island. So this fund helps families who have less income because the men and women who are serving, they leave their full-time jobs, their income decreases. So many of these families have issues with their rent or their utilities or their car payment or their mortgage payments. And last year, $63,000 was dispersed anonymously to families that were in need. So we're looking to restore that fund, and you can go to our website to find out how you can do that, but it's a simple donation. I made one last night in memory of my dad, World War II veteran. So with Veteran Days coming up, our goal is to raise $50,000 so that we'll have enough funds to help service and help those families during this holiday season that's coming up. Second thing, education. We're still losing a great deal of time in the schools. I serve on a school committee with the Blackstone Valley Prep Merrill Academy, and that serves students from Pawtucket, Central Falls, Cumberland, and Lincoln. We know that hundreds of hours are being lost. We need to figure out a way to kind of make sure that we make up that. We owe that to our kids and our families and to our economy. Our economy is going to get impacted long term if we don't play some form of catch up. I'm saying let's take a look at what I did in Cumberland with a municipal education department, and I'm working with some young activists right now that clearly know that, in particular, in certainly of the most impacted communities, the lower income and the communities of color, their disparities already pre-exist, and so we need to do something in there. But again, this is a high income, low income, moderate income, a minority, non-minority, boys, girls, they're all being impacted equally right now. So we got to do something on that. And finally, we'll be on tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock on our community conversation talking about that Rhode Island Military Relief Fund. So please share the show. And make sure that we get the word out that we need to help our small businesses and support our small businesses during all year round, but during the holiday seasons in particular. So Ben, could you bring on Mark? I think Mark is coming on, unless the Secretary Pryor has joined us. So Mark, welcome, Mark. I'm glad you got that mask on. I got mine as well, but tell us about that mask.
So, Governor, this is the mask is called Half Full. It's an LLC out of Smith Street in Providence. Rebecca Twitchell, who is the president and founder of Half Full, she was our Rhode Island and New England Micro Enterprise of the Year. And when I stopped by, Governor, to give her award, she gave us very graciously, all of us who were there, gave us a half full mask. So I told her that I would wear it on this event, and I thank you very much. I've been missing a little while. Just FYI, my dad passed away a week and a half ago. He was also a World War II veteran, 12 days shy of his 94th birthday. So, Governor, I will be sending a donation to the Rhode Island Military Relief Fund in his name and his honor. He served very admirably during World War II, as you well know. That's the greatest generation, and we're losing them one by one. So I will do that this afternoon.
Well, that's great, Mark. Thank you for that, and sorry for your loss. And my mom's 92. We're happy to have her around this long. My dad died at 62, so we really have missed him a lot. And he served in the Pacific during the World War II. So I'm going to take a photo of him in his uniform, when he during that time in the 1943 time frame, and I'm going to post that up. So if you have a picture of your dad, we'd love to post that up as an example of paying tribute and honor to that greatest generation.
Yep.
Get us that picture. We'd love to put that up there. And
I will definitely do that, Governor. He was in the United States Navy, and when he went to his final rest in his casket, we put a United States Navy flag. He was a very proud member of the Navy. So I appreciate that. And by the way, my mom is still with us. She's 95.
Nice.
So I was very fortunate to have both my parents for such a long time. So I appreciate that. On the issue of small business, as you well know, Governor, there are a lot of people who have completed now all of the expending the PPP money. We recommend that they go back to their lenders. And I do know that the agency has now come out with a very easy, if you have $50,000 or less, it is a one-pager, and it's basically perfunctory where that is going to be taken care of. If you're over 50,000, my suggestion is put your information together, work with your lenders, and while you do have until next October to submit it, my suggestion is that, as part of the process, begin to submit it and put your documents together, give it to your lender, because it's the lender that must submit the information to SBA. And I know that there's been somewhat of a delay in the approval of the forgiveness portion of it. And I understand that. But remember, we're dealing with almost 7 to 10 million loans. So they're all a little bit different, and some are more complicated than others. And I do know that, there is much talk about the potential of an additional PPP round. So I would clear the first one first, and then begin on the second one, and we'll see what happens when the Congress does pass something. I just read something just a couple of minutes ago from Senator Rubio, who is looking at the potential of additional PPP funds to help small business. I can't tell you that from, you hear me preach all the time, Governor. Restaurants, retail, hoteliers, those are the ones who seem to be most dramatically hit. I had a conversation with Dave Chenevier from the Rhode Island Manufacturers Association, and we are working together with him and his group, but they're doing fairly well from the manufacturing side. And we really do need, if you do nothing, go out and buy something from a local restaurant, takeout or whatever you're comfortable with, buy something from a retailer, because we really do need to support them to keep them afloat.
Yeah, and Mark, thank you for providing that information. If anything comes up again, we're going to get right to it, and use this forum as part of the communication level with all our small businesses. I was in Situate yesterday visiting several small businesses there. They got a real neat Main Street area there,
right,
with a nutritionist and a hair salon and the country store. And, many of them, and I visited Navigant as well. It was one of our banks that really helped out a great deal with our small businesses. And they were asking, because they're thinking that somehow they might have missed a timeline. But we let them know that they got to October. But I think your advice there is to get in the pipeline in terms of the paperwork as soon as you can, as soon as that made available from your local bank.
If people still have PPP funds, they have until December to expend them, and I'm sure that they can do that between now and December. I know a lot of people are, particularly restaurants, are looking for what is the next phase, and we don't have the answers to that, Governor. Hopefully, we'll have that soon.
Yeah, and Mark, we're going to start talking. I was meeting with the coalition, and when they come on, we're going to talk quickly about it. But this time, we're actually putting another communication together to the governor and to Commerce, with some of the gaps that still exist on the Restore Rhode Island grant program. But we're also going to start talking about flexibility, building more flexibility in where we can, and inch it up so that maybe the restaurants are going from 60. What are they at? 66% now. Maybe they go to 75%. Maybe the bars, stay open to midnight. I mean, we got to think about maybe the fitness centers, which we've visited many fitness centers. Oh my God, they are getting pummeled right now because they got high costs and some of the low, not as many employees at the moment, but they still got the rent and all the high utilities.
Correct.
And yet the Restore Rhode Island doesn't take that into consideration. So we're gonna, put all that down and try to, continue to communicate. So as you're hearing from your small business group and anything that the state should be doing in your mind, let's do that. But flexibility, I think it's time to really start this discussion about flexibility as we're getting into the winter months. And this is the time to start having that conversation.
So, speaking about that, Governor, I had the opportunity to read the Woonsocket Call and saw where David Lahousse up at Kay's Restaurant in Woonsocket has all of these, what they call igloos.
Yes.
That are heated, where you can actually have your dinner outside or lunch outside. Well, it's going to be really interesting on Friday when we get a little snow as to how effective these igloos. And I love Dave, and he's a great entrepreneur. But I might have to go to Woonsocket to see how the snow and the igloos work.
Yeah, we were in Woonsocket. And we visited Dave's place, and we sat in one of the igloos. He intends to try to heat them, and I tell you, perseverance is, one of the main traits that we have as small business owners. And we try to figure out where there's a will, there's a way. And David certainly has that. And I did repeat the story that you've told about, the biggest concern is the rain. That was one of his quotes, right? That
absolutely,
take it outside. So
he's been a friend for a long time. He's a great entrepreneur. He's got a couple of businesses, but I think what David has said and done really expands to a lot of the retail and the restaurant and the hoteliers across the state. While we need to get things back up and open, we need to support the people who are out there right now. And trust me, we've been trying 2 or 3 times a week to order out and to support the local small businesses.
Yeah, we're all trying to do that, and we can't do enough. So, Mark, and thank you so much for your leadership. And again, sorry for your family's loss. But Mark, Ben, do you have something for Mark?
I do. First of all, Mark, I'm so sorry to hear about your father.
Thank you.
That is terrible news, and I know what you're going through right now. We have a question from Diane, who said, Mark, is it not going to be full forgiveness once the HEALS Act is passed?
Okay, so the HEALS Act hasn't passed. There are 2 different bills. There's one in the Senate, there's one in the House, and we don't really know what will happen. Full forgiveness is also contemplated on the CARES Act, which is how they got the additional, they got the PPP to begin with. What the HEALS Act, and particularly what the Senate bill was specifically talking about, was blanket forgiveness for $150,000 or less. That bill did not pass. So you can only implement legislation, as you well know, Governor, once the legislation signed and implemented by the agency. So we're kind of hanging out there right now. But if you have a PPP loan and you have the necessary documentation, then just submit it and it will go through the process.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Governor.
Give me a picture of your dad.
I will. I'll send it to you.
Excellent. Okay, that's great updates, and it's wonderful that Mark is with us. Liz, how are you, Liz? Thank you for being here.
You got me too fast. I'm not ready.
There you go. That's okay. We're kind of in good shape here. You saw that Mark had his is on. You're definitely making an impression. I'll tell you, my new line out there right now, Director, is the if wear your mask, and if you're in a place where people are not wearing the mask, wish them a good day, but to get the heck out of there, because we need to make sure we're delivering this message really strong. Because as you know, we're going to have the reopening of the economy is going to be based on, the infection rates, and the infection rates are going to really be impacted by following these simple rules. They're not complicated. So wear your mask. If people are not
Over the nose.
over the nose, if people are not wearing them in your travels, wish them a good day, but move on, because you got to make sure you keep yourself safe. And those who are not wearing their mask are not really considerate of your health. So, just move on. Don't pick a fight. As I say, wave goodbye, have a good day, and move on. And make sure that we continue to wear the mask. Liz, give us the update. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. And thank you. This is my Ruth Bader Ginsburg mask.
I like it.
Remembering her on an important day. I'm reaching out to tell you about a couple of things. First, I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the business owners. You have been doing such a great job. Our inspection numbers for compliance are at an all-time high. Everybody's doing such a great job. We are so grateful for the time and effort that you put in to, as I say often, build customer confidence, right? So thank you. The numbers have really been absolutely amazing, right? So I can't thank you enough. This week or last week, I should say, the data showed that we have our highest perfection rates ever. And so for us, we look at it on a 12-point scale. So if you are 10, 11, or 12, we consider you perfect or close to perfect. And 84.5% of our about 1,000 inspections came out as people having perfect scores. I mean, that's just remarkable.
Yep.
Just remarkable. So
Liz, I just to kind of reinforce that, I'm going on my 39 small business grant tour right now, and probably 22 or 23 communities in. And I can tell you, the businesses I'm visiting, the tours that I'm taking with the municipal leaders and the local chambers and the local business associations are all complying in a very, very 100% manner. So you're getting the message out. So thank you for that. So because we got to get this economy going. But yeah, please fill in the blanks. What else are you going on?
And we're seeing a wide variety of businesses, right? In the beginning, it was the grocery stores and retail. And restaurants, while we're still seeing all of those, we're seeing construction sites, we're going to manufacturers, we have, we're going to offices, we're going everywhere, right? So we're going to see everybody. We're still receiving our complaints, and I'm sure Shay will put on the bottom of the screen, our information to send stuff. All of our complaints are looked into every time, whether it's an actual visit or a phone call, it depends on the situation. But we are really listening to what people have to say and responding to any complaints that we receive. But a few things that we would love to see some improvement upon is a plan, right? Our numbers are going up. If you do not have a plan, how will you be ready to respond when it happens to you? So we really want to encourage you to have a plan, knowing where you can send your employees or yourself if you do start to show symptoms or you find that you're exposed. Please make sure that you know what works for your situation, because there are lots of different paths to go down to do the testing. But have a plan for who's going to fill in for folks, what kind of a cleaning you need to do, whatever it is for your situation. I cannot encourage you enough to have a plan, and if you don't have one, to make it now. Of course, you know how I feel about the masks, over the nose, can't stress that enough. And we also want to say to our late night folks, we're seeing these great numbers, 7 days a week, regular hours, but our late night, we're still seeing problems, right? So we've got some nightclubs and some bars that are open past 11. They have people standing at the bar. And when we're seeing that, we need you to tell us about it, because that is just a recipe for disaster. A lot of highly intoxicated folks who are out late night and probably let their inhibitions down. And that's a great way to spread. So that is really the only place we're seeing significant problems. And so if you're hearing of any special events that are happening that you think we should keep an eye on, please let us know so that we can watch out for that, because that is the one area that we are seeing problems. So wear your mask, make sure you have a plan, and follow the rules late night, because otherwise you're going to ruin it for the rest of us who are really doing such an amazing, wonderful job. And that's all I got, LG, if anybody has any questions for me.
Yeah, Ben, if there's any questions, I don't need a comment from you on Liz, but we are talking to the coalition members, and we are seeing the compliance out there, and where there are some, infractions, we need to kind of get the heat on them. But hopefully what we're going to see is, as more and more people comply, that we're going to create more and more flexibility, which we talked about, early on in April and May, and for the farmers and other areas. So hopefully, that's the reason I think an incentive for people to really comply and follow the rules, because I think that, at least I'm going to be advocating for flexibility, more flexibility where it makes sense. And if we can find out where the problems are, then let's come down hard there. And where the people are complying, if they can do a little bit more business, inch it up, another 5%, 6% more business, because we can loosen it up, then hopefully that's going to get into the mix. But we gotta curb it in order to even get into that conversation. But I'm glad to hear that many of the businesses are really complying in a way that you feel is very safe, and that's an important piece to make sure that the residents out there, as Mark Hayward said, let's support our local small businesses. This should provide the confidence that they can go out and do business with our local small businesses. So thanks, Liz.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate it. Secretary, thank you for being here. You're going to unmute yourself, and you're going to be in good shape. There you go.
Glad to be with you, Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, well, we're doing kind of rapid fire here. We got great, feedback on what's happened on the Restore Rhode Island program. We've been out.
Definitely.
I think I had a friend of mine give us 40,000 masks to get out to the local businesses. So I think I'm on about my 200, almost 200. I'm over 200 right now of businesses that we visited to give 100 masks to. So I still got another 20,000 to distribute. But I'm hearing that people are hearing about the Restore Rhode Island program. I'm reading in the Providence Business News today that there seems to be some action. So give us an overview of what's happened since we talked on Tuesday. And then I also am particularly interested in how can we communicate to those people, because I see you had a pretty good 30% response from people who have already received dollars. How do we get to the other 70%, and what's being done to do that?
Great. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Really appreciate this forum, and thank you to all the small business people who are pouring their hearts and souls into keeping their businesses afloat. And we're doing everything we can to support you, and always open to new ideas. And as you know, we've been expanding this program. We're very proud of the fact that the program has multiple times lifted criteria, flexed criteria, opened up to more businesses, and we're running full steam ahead. We've now had over 1,650 small businesses receive funding, and the funding total now is $14 million. So it's moving up at a nice clip now. Just in the last week, since we announced that we were going to open for the doubling of amounts for businesses that were already recipients of the grants, and up to the $30,000 cap, the doubled cap for anyone who's applying new, we've had 500 new applications to the program, which is a very healthy pace. And we've had 500 applications to adjust up, meaning to double the grant if the business can show the additional expenses. So 1,000 additional applications of that kind. We're so pleased to see all of that, and it's really a revved up process. So many small business people are finding the time, and we hope finding it to be much easier, less paperwork, fewer documents to upload, easier questions to answer. We've worked very, very hard together, all of us, to get this more efficient and more comprehensible and more doable. So just to repeat, the grant amounts are double for any small business that's eligible and applying. If you've already applied and gotten a grant, there's an easy adjustment form within our process. So go to commerceri.com and see how you can do it. And there are always information sessions that you can join for those new double-sized grants, either to lift your amount or to apply anew. I want to note that, Lieutenant Governor, all the way through, we've been very pleased with the participation of minority-owned businesses. We deliberately have engaged in very proactive outreach to especially Black and Latino-owned businesses in our small business community. And we're at 17% of the grants going to minority businesses, which is wonderful. And we want to keep the numbers up. And we're grateful to our outreach partners who are helping us getting that job done. Also, an additional reminder, nonprofit organizations are now eligible. 501c3s and C6s are eligible under the same rules as small businesses. And child care centers are now eligible under these same rules. All of this information is available at commerceri.com. If you have a question, call our helpline at 521-HELP. And we've got a team that's working all the time to assist businesses through the process and nonprofits through the process. And Lieutenant Governor, we've expanded in significant ways 2-3 times, and we've made a number of tweaks along the way. And I just want to note that it is still the case that our neighboring states, Connecticut and Massachusetts, are just talking. They have not implemented programs. They have not launched programs. They have inquired about ours and aim to draw from our experience and follow our lead. And for that matter, New York has no program. So Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New York are still just talking about assisting small businesses using the federal funds. We should be very proud of the fact that we are ever marching on, working to help our small businesses. Now, let's not purely celebrate. That's not what this is about. We're just proud of the fact that Rhode Islanders are finding these resources, and Rhode Island small businesses are getting relief and are helping to inform the process and make it ever better. But we know that businesses are still struggling every single day.
Yep.
An additional note, we explained this last week, and I want to make sure people hear it even more loudly and clearly. We have a new program called Business Adaptation. If you're listening to us and you're thinking, I'm not just a business trying to stay afloat. I've been blown out of the water. My business, for all intents and purposes, doesn't function right now because of COVID conditions, because of restrictions, because of consumer demand dropping dramatically. I've had to pivot in a gigantic way to a whole new line of business, a whole new way of doing business. Then the Business Adaptation Program might be for you. Those are up to $50,000 grants. Also, go to the commerceri.com site, and that application process is live now. We're accepting applications. Applications must be submitted no later than 4 p.m. on Monday, November 9th. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, but there's still plenty of time. And we may begin to announce awards even sooner. We're saying as soon as November 4th, if there are time-sensitive awards, if there are awards that are in and we know they're going to be qualified, we want to make sure the dollars get out. So really pleased with the progress here, Lieutenant Governor. More and more applications every day, and lots of businesses seeing the increases that they are now due. And if we're working with intensity on even greater help to hotels. Hotels have obviously suffered with great severity. And we are working on the arts community, arts institutions, cultural institutions, and other business and institution types. So if you're hearing this and you're thinking, I really need help and I'm in the hospitality or arts and culture communities, please reach out. We welcome your recommendations. We're aiming to roll something out as pertains to these businesses soon and these institutions soon. Lieutenant Governor, thank you once again for this venue. It's really valuable. And back to you, sir.
Thank you, Secretary. And, we're trying to also identify some of the gaps because you've been so flexible. Now, is the consulting firm that we're using, was it in Minneapolis or Minnesota? Are they notifying the 1,500 that had already received? Are they getting, direct notifications that they can actually qualify for some more money? Because a couple of the businesses that I visited were aware of it, actually through this venue with last week with a presentation. But several of the businesses weren't aware that they had received money prior to, and that they weren't aware that they were qualifying for more dollars on that. By the way, I'm getting the word that it's a nice, simple, neat little 15-minute effort to double up on the money. So that's really good to hear. Yes. So, but is there an active effort, or did they miss the email or the phone call? What's being done to let everybody know that they can actually qualify for these, requalify for the dollars?
Yeah, a lot. We are engaged in a constant advertising campaign. I hope that some of you are seeing it pop up so much that you're saying, all right, already. But we've got a Facebook ad campaign. We've got an ad campaign on multiple local digital media platforms. And yes, actually, Commerce itself, our organization, is directly emailing those that have applied previously. And if we have your email address, which we should in nearly every case,
Yes.
we are contacting you and letting you know that there's this simple adjustment form, this increase form that you can fill out. It does take a little bit of filling out. So you got to fill out that form, but it is as simple as anything we've done. And I think probably as any state has done at this point to get that increase to happen. So we're reaching out in every which way. And if someone on this call even just has a suggestion and says, you know what, here's another blast that you should do. Here's another business association that should get the information. We're going through every chamber of commerce, every industry association, trying every which way, Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, and that's good to hear. Now we're hearing a couple things that just we got businesses that are opened up during the COVID. They had already got their expenses in. They signed their leases, in advance. They bought their inventory. Are they qualifying right now? Have they opened up their business in May or April? Yeah. Are they qualifying for the Restore Rhode Island? And if not, how do we help them out?
Yeah, Restore is a program aimed at restoring operating losses. So the problem is it's very hard to demonstrate losses if you've just opened because it's hard to show a point of comparison. And the feds give you certain criteria that they are very strenuous about. And that's one of them, is that you have to demonstrate direct hit, direct need, direct loss. So we are working on some cases. We have been really getting into it with certain businesses that opened after the COVID crisis started, and we're working on figuring out if there's any way we can offer assistance. But the Restore program in particular is aimed at showing restoration to a previous point. That's the challenge, and we're working on it.
So, and a couple businesses I visited yesterday, they actually purchased the business and so can they compare their data if they purchased an existing business to the revenue of the business that they opened up? Is that a qualifiable or is that a stretch?
I listen, to me, it should be qualifiable. Let me be clear. My goal is to help as many people as possible. But no, I don't think under federal rules that would be a qualifier. But we are working at it. We have several cases of individuals who've inquired and have asked us for help, and we're doing a deep dive. And Lieutenant Governor, if you would do us the favor, if you could refer a couple of these other cases, whoever would be willing, just only if they're willing with their permission, we'll get into it and we'll see if we can find a way.
Yeah, we've got a good list there, Stefan. We'll share it and we'll keep working together, and then we'll keep you posted. Right now, we're working with Pawtucket and Central Falls to really work with the local people that you've already engaged with the Hispanic Chamber and others to reach out to several hundred businesses to let them know about this grant program. That I hope that we can ask for more. I hope that we are able to ask for more, and the governor will, help these small businesses. But what are you doing right now? Very important. And thank you so much for coming on, Stefan, and giving us the update. Hopefully we'll get one next week from you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And let me just say this one thing as we conclude. You're so right to be emphasizing the public health imperative, the public health mandate that we should all feel right now. We've got to wear our masks.
Yes.
We've got to wear them because we've got to distance. We've got to try to stay as close to our own households and not venture out to be with too many people outside of our households. We've got to try to keep it safe. We've got to try to do remote work whenever we can. And I say that because if we want to keep our economy open, if we want to remain the state in the Northeast that is one of the most open for the longest, even in, we still have struggles and challenges, but we've been among the most open with the greatest percentages open the longest. We were among the very first to reopen, and we've been at it. To make more progress, which small businesses desperately need us to do, we've got to get our case numbers going in the opposite direction. Right now, they're rising too fast. and we're already starting to see some accumulations in hospitalizations, and that is not good. So we've all got to work simultaneously at getting grant relief out to small businesses and helping small businesses in other ways, and keeping ourselves safe so we can keep the economy open, and God help us open it up even more at some point that we can get to. But right now, folks, we have to acknowledge that the numbers are going in the wrong direction. So everyone should think about, what can I tighten up? If I have my mask with me, ask myself, why wouldn't I wear my mask right now? Why wouldn't I? How do I maintain my distance? Can I stay in my remote work mode? Can I close that break room that I don't need for social distancing, for social gatherings? Anyway, Lieutenant Governor, thank you for letting me close it out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Secretary. And you're absolutely right. That gives incentives for us to really tighten up, because we want to open up and create flexibility where we can. And I think that discussion is going to happen up in the next couple of weeks, if we can kind of continue to wear the mask. And like I've been telling people, Stephan, I'm saying, wear your mask. And if you get into a place where they're not, wish them a good day, but leave, because you got to protect your health. And those who are not wearing the mask are not protecting your health. Don't pick a fight, just move on, but make sure that you deliver the message that's important. So
and
thanks,
think
Stephan.
about the safest way, the limited, fun, safest way you can do Thanksgiving, and even more soon, the way you can do Halloween. Please think about the most limited way. Let's get to next year when we can do these things the old-fashioned way. Let's think about the most limited way that we can see the fewest people and still have fun and keep our state safe, because if the numbers go in the wrong direction, it'll make it more challenging for those of us who are advocates for business to do even more, and that's what we really, really want to do.
Thanks, Secretary. Appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate it so much.
You got it. All right, I think that we're doing pretty good here. We bring Matt on for a little bit. Oh my God, that is quite a. What do you got there? Is that the Red Sox?
That's right, Governor.
Oh my God, I don't know. I think that your son's team might have gave them a go this year. Your son's baseball team probably would have gave them a go this year. They didn't do that good.
No, but I live and breathe with this team. So, and plus my friend Senator DePalma is usually on, and I like to get a rise out of him when I can.
And I'm sure he's there. I'm sure he'll post very shortly. But he's got. I was on a call with him. Of course, he had his Yankee, Yankee Stadium in the background with looks like all the tickets where maybe he attended many games there and cheered for the Yankees. But
nauseating.
we can't get 100% perfection around here. But go ahead, give us an overview.
Well, it's a different background today because I'm actually home with my daughter today, but I have a different mask because at home we have 2 bins in the kitchen, one for clean masks, one for dirty masks.
There you go.
There are 5 people in my house. We try to keep it organized, and so that's why I put this one on today, and particularly the Red Sox one, to show my faith in the team and also to get a rise out of Lou. But I just, we remain busy. 74,000 people last week certified for payments. That's still an awful lot of people. And I think I just want to echo what the Secretary said and what you've been saying. Let's just continue to be safe. Let's wear our mask and do the right thing. We don't want those numbers going in the opposite direction. And if tough decisions need to be made on the economy, that's exactly what's going to happen. Also, look at the calendar, folks. We're almost in November. The CARES Act programs expire at the end of the calendar year. And if Washington can't get their act together and get something passed relatively soon, then we're going to be having a whole different discussion. So let's hope that when the Senate comes back, they see a way to get together on something and pass a meaningful package that includes relief for small businesses like we need, aid to cities and towns, aid to municipalities and state governments, and importantly, from my perspective, unemployment stimulus payments to help people. We return that money right back into our economy. That money goes to the restaurants that are on this group. That goes to the small businesses in our community. It doesn't remain in people's bank accounts. So what we need is stimulus money to come through. We need it to come through quick. We're lucky that Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse and Congressman Landry and Cicilline work on our behalf, but unfortunately they meet with some people who aren't as clear-headed as they are, and we run into so many log jams. So let's just hope that gets done soon. As far as unemployment goes, things are going pretty well. We're helping a lot of people every day on the phone, between 1,100 and 1,300 people a day. I say call 415-6772. Try late in the day, try Saturday morning. That seems to be a good time to do it. They're open 6 days a week. They're helping a lot of people. You can do anything on the phone because you're going to get an authorized representative that has full access to the system. That's the best way to get in touch. Otherwise, send an email to ltgov20@gmail.com. Your office has been a great advocate for the entire state, and I know that they reach out to me and we make connections with people and try to help them as quickly as we can. That's
Matt,
it for me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Matt. And it's so valuable to have you on. I'm doing these, out and about now with my mask on, but visiting every community and visiting a dozen businesses, one at a time over a couple hour stretch. And they're very appreciative of the work share information you provide, also the unemployment issues, and so that they're very aware that your office is really doing the work, and they many of them have watched this call that I'm actually meeting, which is surprisingly, but it's good to hear that people are still tuning in and they know they're getting valuable information. So thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. We'll see you probably next week or the following week. I think it's a state holiday or state, so I don't know what we're going to have a program next Tuesday. We'll let people come on if they can, but if they can't, that's okay. We'll cover a lot of the other things that need to be covered. But if I don't see you next week, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Matt. Do you have a question,
Matt,
Ben? Do you have something?
I have one question for Matt. Matt, how is fraud going? The question was asked how the fraud issue with unemployment is going now.
Well, it's still we have a lot of controls in place now, so we're treating it a bit differently than it was in the beginning. It's happening in every state, and unfortunately, bad people do bad things. And so just like in the SBA programs that we had heard about from Mark, people attack these federal programs because they see them as piggy banks that they can raid. The one thing I will say is if you're an employer that's on this session today and you have a charge statement from DLT and it refers to people that work for you and we're charging you for their benefits because they weren't COVID related and they were fraudulent claims that people never filed, you need to let us know. And you should go through that ltgov20@gmail account, and I personally will get back to you.
Great.
I actually have one more question. I'm so sorry. But this is from Joel. Matt, my son got a notice that he needed to be answered within 10 days. With the post office being as slow as it is, he received it yesterday, 11 days to the date on the notice. I told him to call yesterday. Will there be any grace period?
There's always a grace period. And so he should definitely call today and try. And if he can't get through by the end of the day or this evening, then email ltgov20 and I personally will help him out.
Yeah. Thanks, Joel. And thanks, Joel, for watching. Joel Hillman's been watching this show since we started, and he's been giving me a lot of good advice. So thanks, Joel.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Governor.
Okay, Matt, you got it. Okay. That's a lot of information again, but our office is available at ltgov20@gmail.com, 222-2371 on a phone call. We're answering our calls, and whether it's small business related or whether it has an issue that has anything that has to do with the COVID and the impact that it's having on your family or your business or your community, let us know. And also, there's other things that are going on, as I talked about with the Military Relief Fund. There are things that are continuing that are non-COVID related that we got to keep keep our activities up level high and keep the energy high in our state. So, yeah, Matt and Liz are doing a great job doing that. So, thanks, Joel. All right. I think do we have some of the coalition members on? Or that Laurie, good to see you. Chris, congratulations to you. And no, Justin, my God, where's the drum roll? Get your mic opened up.
Wow, who is that guy?
Chris.
Open up your mic, Justin.
He hasn't been off long. He forgot how to mute.
All
You
right.
know what's funny is Ben just sent me a message. He's like, "Are you hopping on?" But it was like 10 minutes ago that he sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh, whatever. I'm just gonna log in." I log in, and what do you know? What a grand entrance!
Well, Justin, it's great. I got my three amigos here. The three crew that started this effort with the coalition, and I can tell you when I'm doing these tours now in Situate yesterday, North Providence today, I'm continually letting them know they need to register as part of the coalition, and that's Justin, Chris, and Laurie for those who are watching out there. So if you're at home, give them a couple thumbs up because they've been extraordinary in this effort to kind of rally our small businesses. And I don't think we would have this program unless we had the three of them really working on this. So thank you again. Justin, give us a quick update of what you've been going through because it's a, you know, it's a journey that, you know, none of us want as a small business, but you're very persistent and resilient. So just give everybody a little overview of why you've been a little absent from these calls, but we appreciate all your support that you're giving in the background. But
Yeah, absolutely. So we had at my old shop was Oceanside Graphics, had the business partner. We had a small little fire. It led us to kind of evaluate where we as individuals and business owners wanted to be. And I was getting away from, you know, doing the things that I liked, which was working with all the small businesses. So, you know, we ultimately closed Oceanside, kind of went back to the way things were. I found a new studio in Warwick to work out of. I'm going to do a lot of like educational stuff and, you know, work with small businesses continuously through, you know, our print stuff. And then as well as the other side of my business is like the craft industry, which I had at the other place as well. So we do like a lot of craft supplies and vinyls and fun stuff like that. But it's been a journey. It's been a ride. It's been, you know, there's been a lot of support from the back end of, you know, all the friends I've made over since March. And, you know, everybody's helped me get here now. And, you know, the new place is simplicity. We just want to keep it nice and simple.
Time in November, like an official opening, right, Justin, in your shop, your new shop? I think it's on my schedule. You got an official opening coming?
Yeah, so we're going to officially do November 28th, which is Small Business Saturday. So we're going to do a craft fair here for a few hours, and I know you guys are coming down. So, you know, I encourage everyone to come down, come support some local artists and crafters, and let's make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make that a part of our weekend, as featured in our weekend as we're highlighting our small businesses, Justin. But again, thanks for being here. And if you can hang in there for a couple more minutes while we get our other businesses on in about 5 minutes, you know, certainly I know you're getting up to date because you're on all our texts and everything else that's following through there. But yeah, congratulations on your persistence, and your reopening of your entrepreneurship is very, very much very commendable. Thank you very much, Justin, for all the leadership you provided. Chris, give us an overview.
Thanks.
I mean, you've had an interesting week as well, right? I mean, you had a little hiatus with a wedding and your honeymoon, and now you're back to work. But you know, share what you want. But I'm sure that was a great experience for you and your family and your wife.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable experience, and we still persisted through the COVID wedding. It was a lot, but we were able to still do it, support a lot of small businesses in that wedding industry. We've talked a lot about it in the beginning of this pandemic, how the wedding industry got affected, and we saw it firsthand. There's so many vendors involved with the wedding. But we had a great time. We're very happy. We had a great honeymoon, but we're ready to back to work. Business never stops. So we had a coalition call yesterday. Again, as a reminder, we have a phone call every Monday at 11 a.m. with the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition members. If you'd like to be a part of it, email us at info@rismallbusiness.org, and we'll send you an invite, and it's a recurring invite every Monday at 11 a.m. That's a great call because we're able to hear directly from all types of businesses with all different types of ideas, problems, issues, solutions, and we really collaborate to come up with these types of advocacy solutions. So we had another great one yesterday talking about some of the solutions, talking about what Secretary Pryor just mentioned with the Restore RI grant, getting that doubled as we suggested. And there are some positives with that. So make sure you apply. If you already applied, reapply. They made it easy so that you can get the additional grant money that they extended it, and let others know. I mean, that's what I just did another round of yesterday, was emailing and calling and texting other small business owners and saying, hey, they just doubled the grant side. They made it easier. You know, go ahead and apply. We need to ensure that we get that grant money out from the federal money through the state to the small businesses to really help our small business owners and the economy in general. So that's one of the biggest messages that we have. But also the second one is that we need to do more than just grants, right? We need to ensure that we have a sustainable business model moving forward. It's getting into the winter months. This COVID isn't going to just disappear any day. It's going to be with us. So how can we ensure that we can continue to operate our businesses, our small businesses here in the state, and what type of small friendly initiatives can we do together to ensure that, we're here for the long run.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I think those are important things. And as we're building the number of members, we got to be approaching 3,000 in the coalition right now, registering. And I keep on saying we got to get to 5,000, but I think we will with the work. And we want to make sure that we're doing the work today. That because of the economic crisis that has been brought on by the health crisis, but we also want to make sure that we're really an organization that is going to have a forward thinking down the line as we get past both this economic crisis and the health crisis. So thanks, Chris. Laurie, give us a kind of your update on where you're from and meet some businesses that I visited over the last week and a half or so.
Yeah, I would love to. This morning, Ben and I did a nice interview with Justin and his roller coaster of a journey getting to where he is in the last few months. It's kind of like since March, it feels like 5 years has passed. But I think in the Shop Local Rhode Island piece of the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition, which my company focuses on, we are doing newsletters. So we're getting the information out around these calls and around around the Restore RI grants. I actually went to the dentist this weekend and I ended up telling some people about, you have to apply for the grant. Here's the information. And I was giving it to them, but yeah, they didn't, there were people in the waiting room and they didn't know about it. And so, anyway, we're going to continue to try and get the word out. I say with the Shop Local Rhode Island piece, it's kind of a direct to business group. So if you have things that you want to sell, you have a great digital footprint to get onto that site and put information up, make changes. This is kind of a business exchange. And we are fortunate to have both the coalition to deal with the issues that are coming up with the small business and advocating for them, as well as allowing the businesses to kind of run their business in terms of planning. I mean, if we, God forbid, we shut down again, but there is an opportunity here where we are asking, we're going to start in November to push having businesses and people take a percentage, 10 to 20% of what they spend and make sure that they're spending it in Rhode Island. So we're doing this, Visual Thrive is doing this as it leads up to Small Business Saturday. So, so we're, I think we dovetail really nicely into making sure that the businesses know what's going on. They're knowing that they have outlets, but they also have advocacy. And that's kind of where we are on this front.
Yeah, well, we're going to keep the messages going, Laurie and Chris and Justin. So thank you for your leadership, and we'll get together next Monday, anyways, and talk about our next steps. But the small business community really needs our help, as you said. We need to do business with them. We need to be intentional about that. And the more information that we get out, the better chance that, we're saving another business. And it's one business at a time, quite frankly. And that's the work that you're doing. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the update.
Thank you. Look forward to.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. We're good. Okay. Thanks. All right. So we have a couple businesses that we want to bring on. Ben, we got another 10, 15 minutes to go here, but Greg, thanks for being here, Greg. And Dave, did you bring a picture? Mark Haywood really was interested in seeing that picture of your igloos. I don't know whether maybe our office can send Ben something there. Mark would really like to see those igloos. But anyways, let's start off with Greg Kerwin. You have a very interesting story because you're in the business sector, but you opened up, you bought an existing yoga studio, Greg, in last December, and it opened up, and then all of a sudden, the bottom fell out of the bottom fell out for you. But give us an overview of your business and your former business ventures, as well as what you're currently doing right now down in South Kingstown.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me, Lieutenant Governor, and it was great to see you on the visit down in Wakefield last week. I can speak, I think, for most of the small business community in that your relentless pursuit in support of small business has been remarkable, and we really appreciate it. The Restore Rhode Island program was a beautiful thing for me. It came out. It was when it first came out and it was new. There was a lot of information to fill out. But I got to tell you, one of the as you went through the process and you filled out the paperwork and you spoke to some people, it went into review, and I had only gotten, I think my amount was $6,500. I was a little confused. I was scratching my head wondering why. When it went into review, I then got a phone call back, and they asked me about the application, and I had transposed the full-time and part-time employment numbers, and when they fixed that, it came back for $13,500. So really great people working on this, really trying to get you the most that you can for what your business is. So that was great. And then we talked about it already. This little bit of this addendum that we can fill out, the adjustment form, is simple. It took me 15 minutes at the max. Submitted it quickly, and it's in the queue right now. So couldn't be more excited. And in fact, you mentioned I own a yoga company. I own All That Matters, been around for 25 years. I worked there for 2 years prior to buying it. And what this grant has allowed is to help me free up some capital to actually do an expansion. We went from being able to fit 40 yoga students in the yoga studio down to 10. So now I'm expanding the room, putting some windows in, putting some of the medical grade air filters in, and we're really looking forward to continuing to move our business forward despite the crisis we're in.
Yeah, Greg. So I think that, and thanks for coming on, because you're one of the 500 companies that Secretary Pryor was saying that kind of re-upped and applied, because you're going to receive more dollars because we've been ratcheting up the number, and Commerce is now creating that opportunity for you. But there's 1,000 more businesses out there that could, take advantage of what you're doing right now. What's your advice to them?
My advice is to fill out the form.
Yeah, fill out the form.
Really simple.
Yeah,
it really is. And there's a lot of opportunities there that you can use for the expenses. And I just think if you're not taking the time to do it, you're missing out on some money that can really help your company.
Yeah, so that we were down in South Kingstown last week, visited many businesses. Yours was one of them. We saw the expansion that you're doing in terms of your studio, and as I've mentioned to both Secretary Pryor and to Liz Tanner, who was our Director of Business Regulation, we need to keep on thinking about flexibility and how that could help. You might not be able to get up to the 40 initially, but you're at considerably less in terms of inside capacity right now. What is your capacity right now, Greg, in terms of the way, before you're kind of doing the expansion? How you went from 40 to how many?
40 down to 10.
Down to 10, yeah. Yeah, so you might pick up another 5 or more on that expansion. I'm not sure exactly what you're going to get, but I think we need to be thinking about flexibility. If you're following the rules and you got as you were with all the hand sanitizers and the shop that you have, the retail shop you have there, we need to make sure that we're part of our efforts is to create more flexibility. If you could get up to 50% capacity rather than 25%, that's going to get you closer and closer to where you need to be. So, and then if you could again add another 10% or another 5% or another 8% or whatever it is, I think we got to start really thinking about that, because I don't think that we're going to go from where we are to completely open. But why not? Why wait? Let's get percentages in. Okay.
I agree. And I think, Greg, as you said before, that it's everyone's responsibility, right? Let's wear a mask, let's social distance, and let's get us back in the game.
And the small state it is, Greg, we knew each other from a different world with our daughters playing basketball. So it was always good to see you. And I did see Kara over the weekend, and I told her about Erica and my meeting with you, Greg. So she brought a smile to her face. Good memories there. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Greg. David, how are you doing? Governor? Yes. How's the? Yeah. Give us the update on how you're kind of reinventing to a certain degree, especially where we were at K's up in Woonsocket. where I've had many good steak sandwiches over the years. I can't tell you how many times I've been there, and the whole Rhode Island, in particular, Northern Rhode Island has been there. But how are you dealing with all this?
We're doing okay. It's been interesting, obviously. I appreciate you stopping in last week to give me some information regarding the loans, which I didn't know about. I knew about the loans, but I didn't know about they changed some of the things. That was great. But things are going well. I mean, the igloos are being a big hit across the country. I get people that are calling me from yesterday was from Oregon, and over the weekend was from North Carolina. So it's, for some reason, the story is going across the country, and I think Little Woonsocket or Little Rhode Island is getting little notoriety from those stories. So,
yeah, I mean, you've got like 7 or 8 of these igloos up there that you're going to try to, create a sustainable, fall season here, and I tell you, the people who were having lunch while I was visiting you were enjoying the experience.
Oh yeah. Yesterday it was pretty cool. And I know Mark mentioned earlier about a snowstorm on Friday. Like, we can't wait. We want to see some snow and see how it reacts to the people. The people really love it. It's like when we sat in there last night, a group of 6 of us. It was warm and we didn't have any heat in there. It's like the body heat really. It's amazing how they heat up. But overall, it's been good. I can't complain, but as I told you, we reinvented the restaurants. We're not just a restaurant anymore.
Yeah, and of course you got you got your wait staff across the street. That certainly is they have to be pretty flexible. Your staff has been flexible in trying to put your vision into place. But which is when we walked right in, your staff was right there welcoming us, across the street. And of course, you're transporting your food from your kitchen right across Cass Avenue.
Yeah, we added a staircase over the last few days. So there's a nice staircase that goes up across the street now.
Look what we got up there.
That'll be interesting.
I think that Mark might look at it. We got the igloos posted up here. Can you see it, Dave? Can you see it?
Great.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we're actually putting a 9th one up as we speak.
You are.
I have the 10th one up today too.
Oh yeah, there we are. Yep, you're talking inside there, talking about what we're doing and how you're dealing with this. But I think that's going to be very unique, and I think it's a good example of good good entrepreneurship, ingenuity that we all share. The 3 of us are all entrepreneurs. As you know, we've been in small business for many, many years. My grandfather had an ice business, and my dad and his 2 brothers moved up to kerosene and the oil business, and my dad died in '86, and our family is continually our oil plumbing business in Cumberland and Blackstone Valley, just as you have and Greg is doing right now. So entrepreneurs need to stick together, David. So yeah, I hope that you're able to take advantage of that Restore Rhode Island grant. And we're trying to, use examples of everybody, like Greg just told his story about how he already received some dollars on that effort, and he's going to be able to double that up. I'll tell you, Dave, there was one business that we visited in South Kingstown that had three diners in the South County area. Each one of them had received $7,500, $8,000, and he wasn't aware that he could apply to re-up. So that business owner, had a nice, nice surprise when I visited and said, look at, Mark, reapply because you can catch yourself another $20,000, $25,000. We got to get that money out to all our local community. So hopefully you're going to have good success with the application that you make on Restore Rhode Island.
Well, thank you. I'm definitely going to take care of that in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and message David because you are one of our, main people up in the Northern Rhode Island area in terms of advocating for our small business, not just yours, but all our small businesses. Give you a message about what we need to do to help keep our businesses, alive and thriving.
Thank you, Governor. I want to say, we're talking about this. If I didn't do the outdoors, this is what I tell people all the time. If I don't do the outdoors, I got to lay off 2/3 of my staff. And I did that in March, and I don't want to ever have to do that again because I'm seating 50, 122 inside the restaurant. So if I can keep these igloos alive through the winter, it's going to keep my full staff on, and I plan on dressing them up with all the clothing that they need, to make it safe and great for them too. They're excited, and like I said, for me, it's about jobs. I mean, I can survive, but I got to keep my employees employed, one way or the other. So.
Yeah, well, thank you for your leadership on that, David. And thank you for coming on and sharing your stories. Especially the innovation that we just showed on the screen there. We got to be flexible, and we need to be nimble. And our small businesses are so important to our local communities. Not only as a small business owner, I say that, but as a former mayor, I know how important our small businesses are to our communities. And now as a lieutenant governor, as I travel around the state, meeting small businesses every day. I'll be in North Providence in about a half an hour with Charlie Lombardi, Mayor Lombardi, and really talking about, why we're doing the work we're doing, because our economy depends on our small businesses.
Yeah, give Charlie my best. I love Charlie. He's a great guy.
You got it. Greg, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
David, thank you for your time as well.
Thank you so much, and thank you for visiting.
You bet. Yeah. So, there's a little taste of some of the businesses that we're visiting and their stories and the innovation and the struggles that they're going through and why we need to support our small businesses out there. So let's make sure that we make every effort to help our small businesses. Think about that today and tomorrow and through the weekend and through the holiday season. How can we get more and more of business with our local small businesses during this time frame when they're working so hard, and we can support them, and our economy depends on it. Like I just said, our municipal budgets depend on it, our state budgets depend on it. So let's get that $50 million out. Let's make sure that we get ourselves in a position, because remember, that is a use it or lose it. Those 1.25 billion is use it or lose it, and we're coming very tight on the deadlines there. So our office can help, 222-2371. And we'll be out in North Providence today. And if you want us to visit your business or you want us to come to your community, let us know. 222-2371, LTGOV20@gmail.com. Yeah, thanks for everybody. We'll be on tomorrow night talking about the Military Relief Fund. I think I'll have a picture of my dad and a picture of Mark Haywood's dad, both members of the greatest generation, both served in World War II. And we want to help our existing men and women who are in service as we're coming up on Veterans Day. This is a good time to honor those who have served and to make sure that we're providing the resources to the families who are still here, keeping their households together as their husband and wives and their earners. Earners are actually serving our country. Our families serve too, and we know that through our Blue Star moms and sadly through our Gold Star families, how our families serve, and not just those who serve us and are deployed, dispatched during any given time, but our families do too. So we'll be talking about that Military Relief Fund. Ben, thank you so much for hosting us today and helping get everybody in and out. It was a very active day. Stay safe, everybody, and please follow the rules. Let's go open up our business, and let's start talking about flexibility for our small businesses in the state of Rhode Island, and apply for the grants if you haven't already done that. Our office can help. Thanks. Stay safe.